strategically in small organizations like ours, it's the crucial piece, or crucial is what's going to be the most relevant content piece. What can you do that really is going to make a difference? What's going to resonate with a wide audience? And that's really, you know, not always easy to figure out when you have people who want to do certain stories. But that's, I think, tactically you have to do that right now.
I guess I would kind of react to your comment about you need to make our society aware of the benefits. I think that's certainly a worthy goal. And as an industry, the industry should do it. But I think it's the wrong focus. And the focus is going to be to figure out business models or venture models that are going to be sustaining. And I know we're all trying to struggle with this now. The difficulty the concern I have with looking for foundation money or any kind of donor money is I can't think of any more of a competitive space than trying to raise money today, and it's getting worse and worse from foundation. They get thousands and thousands and thousands of requests. And those of you who've done it, you need to be an expert, or you got to go hire somebody to get grant money. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't try it, but it's from my perspective, it's only a means to an end. And I think we talked about it here. It's seed money. It gets you going. It allows you to experiment. Dan's point's a good one. Sometimes they put constraints on you, but it allows you to figure it out as you go. But I would be really concerned to see that as a sustainable model.
I agree.
I think that
we all agree.
to your point about how do we package things, or how do we provide things for consumers, I'm not the story we tell often about these 18 students, I'm not sure I draw a conclusion about all consumers based upon 20-year-old college kids. You know, if you ask those 18 students 10 years from now, they may have a different perspective. The part I think is missing in a lot of this discussion is the need or the desire to really understand who the customer is. What are their needs? What problems are you solving? You touched on that a bit. I think you got to get to that level of what do the consumers want, and therefore will pay for. And I think that's missing at the moment in the whole investigative journal. It's just journalism generally. Is what are customers, what do they value, and what will they pay for?
So is the customer the consumer or the advertiser?
Well, in this case, I'm talking about the consumer. The advertising model is one that may or may not happen, but I'm...
So Google,
Correct.
case in point to me, does everything for the consumer, but doesn't collect the cent. I mean, to me, the model that you're living in here, I think you need to know the product for the consumer, but that's different from your revenue source.
Well, maybe. The point I'm proposing is I think you need to provide a product that consumers will be willing to pay for.
When they're used to getting it for free. And that's the big challenge.
That's the challenge.
I used to be publisher of Variety.com, which when I was there was probably around $7 to $8 million in online revenue. Now, frankly, there was a newsroom that was putting a print product out, which we obviously got a benefit from. They put a paywall up, and my understanding is that their audience plummeted, and so did their revenues. I used to run Hollywood.com. We used to sell advertising for Hollywood.com and MovieTickets.com. We got up to $12 million in revenue combined. I bring these points up because, you know, I've been through large-scale things. And by the way, Hollywood.com probably wasn't break-even, and Variety didn't make a profit. One of the inherent challenges that we have is people don't wake up in the morning and say, wow, I wonder what the mercury level is in my fish or my ivan. Right? We're reporting about stuff that actually about stuff they don't want to know. It's much easier to go through life thinking that everything we need and everything we do is safe. It isn't. So the problem is, it's like trying to get kids to drink castor oil, to use a Victorian analogy. This is not, there isn't a direct consumer relationship that way.
The argument I would put forward is you don't understand your customer.
See, I think we do. And I think our customers happen
Well, he's not willing to pay you.
What's that?
He's not willing to pay you, or she's not willing to pay you, therefore you don't understand.
See, but I'm going to go back to what I said. I don't think the customer is ultimately the consumer. I
Well,
think
media
that,
business has never been constructed on consumer need.
right.
So you either have to change your results and say, okay, we're going to be a
I guess
consumer.
The customer is whoever pays you.
Yes.
but
Which is-
I think
is a-
you've
is a-
got to
is a-
be,
is a consumer.
I think what we're kind of trying to say is that looking down the road, you've got to be concerned about their customers. And where are those people going to go? I think this concept of having partnerships, like with Frontline, Maria Hinosa was here a couple weeks ago. She's doing something for Frontline in Telemundo, and you're doing stuff with them. But is their funding going to be there as their customers, transition into something where they don't expect? And is their money going to be there? And that's what I think you've got to think about is, these partnerships are a really good idea. Will they always be there, and what's going to replace them?
Again, they're only one leg.
Right.
They can't be our own leg.
But let's look at an analog, right? I think there's a great analog out there, and I think they're going through troubles right now. But AP is a non-profit organization that has, in the past, derived multi-million dollars in revenue. Their customers are not consumers. Their customers are publishers. So I think that I take your point well.
But
I'm
publishers are having trouble.
No doubt. I'm not saying it, but
And the publishers are having trouble because, yes,
I don't know where I stand on this question I'm about to ask. Part of me wonders, is journalism long a product? And is there a way of finding the right, like I think of people like Media Storm or something. They sell media, but they're actually not, they're selling the construction of multimedia. And I'm wondering if there's another product that really we as journalists should be trying to sell that then houses our journalism efforts, and what that product might be. And
it is a great question.
Or multiple products. I think there's always this tendency to find,
Right.
like, what's the one thing that we can do? Because it's a lazy way.
See, she's starting from a whole different perspective than virtually everyone else in this room is. I mean, we tend to start from a very historical perspective, and she's not.
No, because we know how to do journalism, we don't know how to do the perfect money-making.
And she will solve the problem.
So journalism's the blender you get for opening a savings
All
account.
of the rest of us.
Look at NPR, they sell music, right? I mean, they sell other things that are kind of byproducts of their audience, or their core products. I mean, it's kind of a crazy idea when you think about it, really smart. It's the little snippets of music that
And
you have
accessories.
in between, right?
Yeah.
It's accessory, yeah, so I mean, and that's not gonna fund all other operations, but in any business, no one thinks.
well, look at National Geographic. National Geographic is a $1 billion, very successful commercially non-profit that basically derives commercial revenues to underwrite their core function.
To add to Morgan's question, I think the other underlying issue in the networks we're looking at here is that we're creating a product that's supposed to be a public good, that its services for everybody to consume it and inform themselves. So if it's a public good, then it should be provided without cost, correct? So I think that can further your problem. I think that, again, what are you selling, and how can you sell something else that might fund the production of that public good?
It's like popcorn in the movie theater, right?
Yeah.
We
Well-
need the popcorn.
I think you need some sugar to go along with your vegetables. And the example I'm seeing this morning, I'm seeing all these people talking on Twitter and Facebook about rock, paper, scissors, interactive on the New York Times, where you're playing a computer and everybody out there is doing it. But it's an accessory to a really serious story about how computers are analyzing language for lawyers and all this stuff. It's like, and if the game draws more people into the vegetable portion of it, that's a good thing. And I think that sometimes we do take ourselves a little too seriously, and I think we're just going to put out this really serious stuff. Let's find a more playful, sugary way to present it sometimes. But I don't know, that's not a business aspect exactly.
And it's a really tough nut to crack. I mean,
Yeah.
our very first major report was sexual assault on college campuses. Ooh, I want to put my industry's name right next to the rape story. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
or what fun act can we come up with?
There isn't one.
It's really, really difficult. It's really difficult.
I'm just interested in teasing out what your quest was. Your name Morgan? Is that
Yeah,
okay?
Morgan.
I mean, so when you said that, what popped into your head? What kind of other product would the journalism be inserted in? Or
Well, it could be anything. I mean, I guess it would depend on if you want to have a media niche, if you go with a media niche, like my expertise is zoology and conservation, I would do science. So maybe I would try to develop a product that's targeted towards that conservation community or towards scientists, or I don't know if it would be a physical product that they buy, or if it would be a service that they would buy that has more, I think, marketable value to the customer than something that is culturally expected to be free at this point. It would require like a cultural paradigm shift, be it people who want to pay for it. So, I don't have an answer to that. It's like the question is what popped into my head, and I think that places like MediaStorm are a good example. They are creating these high-end multimedia experiences for people. Aurora Photos, they're doing the same kind of thing. They are working with commercial groups. They are working with journalism groups. They are working with NGOs to say, if you pay us this money, we're going to come in here with our fancy schmancy cameras and movie techniques and sound editing, and we're going to create this product for you that is going to help your company raise money. So I think that there are ways to incorporate journalism into those types of business models where you are creating these products, but you are also generating enough revenue that you are then funding your projects that you want to do that are on these really important issues. And the products that you're selling, that you're packaging, can also be tied to these really important issues. The car companies, now you have like Toyota, and they're selling their cars, but they're also now doing kind of goodwill endeavors as well, funding that as well, and it's making their brand look better. So I just think that there might be some.
There was a PR problem.
Yeah.
there was
Yes.
the question of the accelerators. Yeah.
But you don't have to have a PR problem to drive that. That's something that you can, because obviously they're doing that because they think it's going to work to solve their PR problem. So you don't necessarily need the PR problem